I'm Hejin, and welcome to my 5th video. Today, I wanted to share with you how to make this tulle skirt with many frills of tulle. The most important part of making this skirt is creating many tiers of gathered tulle and attaching them line by line. It felt like sewing hundreds of petals, so I called it a petal skirt. This design appeared in Dior's collections in 2017 and 2018. It seemed like a half-circle skirt with many frills attached to it. I really loved the idea, so I started testing various combination of ratios to recreate this. And here are the mock-up I had and the finished skirt. I wanted to make it look quite full, but not too puffy. And for the color, I chose light coral pink that reminded me of rose petals. First, let's figure out the yardage needed for the lining material and the tulle layer. We're making a half-circle skirt, so we need to know your waist measurement. When you have the measurement, you can go ahead and search for Circle Skirt Calculator, select half-circle skirt, and enter the measurement with the skirt length. Our skirt will be 34 inches long. This will tell you the fabric yardage you'll need and your waist radius. For the lining, the number from the calculator is the final number. And for tulle, we'll add more yardage because of the frills. Then, let's calculate the yardage for the frills and add it to the previous yardage. We're making 17 tiers of these frills and they are 2 inches in width. We're going to cut a lot of long rectangle pieces with that width and gather the top. What we need to keep in mind is that the top of the frill shrinks a lot when gathered. I recommend shrinking it to 25% of the original length for the best look. And this is what a frill of that ratio looks like. See how it's much shorter on the top compared to the bottom? For the estimate, please consider this table. Tulle fabrics tend to vary in width, so I try to cover the most common ones. Also, if your waist radius is bigger than 8 inches, consider adding 1 more yard as the circumference gets larger when the radius changes. And remember, it's always better to have more fabric than the exact amount used for seam allowances, fabric testing, and backup materials. Now, if you found your number, let's add it to the tulle skirt's yardage that the calculator suggested. That will be the final number for your tulle fabric. We'll fold the fabric in half and mark the waist radius. Next, mark the total length, which is the sum of your waist radius and the skirt's length. After drawing the two arcs, we can start cutting them. Make sure the fabric doesn't move around while cutting it. And this is what the lining would look like. Then, we'll do the same thing for the tulle layer. Mark the waist radius and the total length and cut it carefully. For the frills, cut long strips of tulle with 2 inches in width. We'll gather the top side 0.5 centimeters from the edge. We'll need a lot of these strips. For frills, we should adjust the tension and the stitch length. I set the tension to 5 and the stitch length to 4 millimeters. Now, pull out the long pieces of tulle that we cut and let's start gathering the top. Like we discussed, we'll put the gathering line at 0.5 centimeters from the edge. After gathering, let's gently pull the fabric to the left to create frills. After gathering the whole strip, we'll pin it to the tulle layer of the skirt. I recommend starting it from the bottom tier and go up, because this way, the frills will stay on your left side while sewing, so it won't interfere with the next tier. Now, let's sew them together. While attaching the frills, keep adjusting the volume. Make sure they're not too clustered or too sparse. And this is what the tulle layer looks like after attaching all 17 tiers. Finally, let's assemble everything. Starting with the belt, I put a velvet ribbon facing down, and in the middle of its width, I placed the lining and tulle fabric on top of each other in that order. After pinning them, I sew them together. Then, I folded the ribbon in half and covered the right side of the skirt with it. Now, it's time to close the layers. We'll close the tulle layer and the lining, and attach an invisible zipper, which will complete the skirt. Now, let's see how the skirt turned out, shall we? I really like how it turned out. It was actually very close to what I imagined, as I wanted it to look like flower petals floating around me when I moved. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to see your skirts. By the way, I made a new Instagram account exclusively for my projects, so let's meet there. Then I'll see you in the next video.